Hello and welcome to Salary Voodoo, the show right here on the MMA Engine channel where I, your host Monk, aka the Monkmatician, breaks down a few fights on each and every UFC card to give you from a Salary Voodoo perspective, guys. It is a different perspective, a different way of constructing your GPP lineups, guys. Before we get into it, please like this video, subscribe to the MMA Engine channel if you haven't already, and if this does prove worthy, please share it with a friend who plays in different DFS contests than you. Guys, let's get right into it. Rules or parameters for Salary Voodoo. Salary Voodoo offers stats that aim to give you a fresh, unique angle when it comes to MMA DFS lineup construction, especially in GPP tournaments. I glean stats from historically unusual places like salaries, fight positions, weight classes, etc. Heavily probability based and very heavily overanalyzed as well. Salary Voodoo stats are tracked. All stats you'll see are tracked since 1/1 of 2021, and natural salaries are used for calculations, meaning salaries that equal $16,200 total per fight, like 8,200, 8,000, 8,379. DraftKings has these patterns, guys. Lastly, please, because we need you in the comments, please comment the fights from UFC Vegas 60, next week's card, that you want to see from a Salary Voodoo perspective. Drop those in the comments. It's much more fun when you guys get involved. Much more easy, for me to do this when I'm not the one picking all the fights. Otherwise, I'd probably pick close to the same salaries every week. It's a ton of fun when you guys get involved. So please drop those comments of who you want me to see breaking down next. Who you want me to see? What? Who you want me to break down next week? Something like that. You know what I'm trying to say. Guys, let's get right into it. First fight of the night, brought to you by Mauler138. Thank you, Mauler. Wanted me to go over Darian Weeks and Johan Lainesse. First fight of the night, guys. 8,200 for Weeks, 8,000 for Johan. Let's see. Welterweight fight. Welterweights are averaging 45.63% optimal, meaning whenever they fight, someone makes the optimal from that fight, 45.63%. First fight of the night, very, very low, 42.47% optimal, but the salary pair of 8,200 and 8,000 makes optimal 52.31% of the time, and we are under leveraged to that position by 2%. So a little bit of leverage there for this fight as a whole. We have Orthodox. As far as these two guys go, 50% win rate for Orthodox, and the other 50% is also Orthodox. Finish win percent for the $8,200 salary, 24.62%, much higher, or a little bit higher than its decision win percent of 21.5%. $8,000 has a finish win percent of 20%, or a finish win rate of 20% rather, and a decision win rate of 29.23%. We are over leveraged on the 8,200, the more expensive fighter. 27.27% is its average ownership, and we are over leveraged 4.2% to that position, guys. So it only makes optimal 23% of the time, and we have it slotted in 27% of the time, so we are 4% optimal. You want to see negative numbers in your leverage. That is much better, much like we have for Johan Lainesse. 23% average ownership, but it makes optimal 6% more than that. So we are under leveraged to the $8,000 fighter by 6.2%. So we definitely have some room to roster Johan Lainesse here this week. If you are on that side, we are under leveraged to that position. Optimal times, let's see, each one, if I could speak clearly, each one of these guys these salaries have fought each other 65 times. Let's see, 8,200 has made it 15 times for, like I said, a 23% optimal rate, only a 46% win rate, which is very subpar, especially for a quote-unquote favorite salary. And when it does win, guys, it only makes optimal 50% of the time. Average DraftKings points per win, 93.93. Meanwhile, almost every stat is better for the dog salary at $8,000. 19 times that salary is made optimal, 29%. If you're over 25% optimal, that is pretty good. If you're almost at 30%, that is fantastic. And we are almost there, guys. 29.23%, 49.23% win rate, 3 points higher than its favorite counterpart. And when it does win, it makes optimal in just under 60% of those wins. 93 points per win, guys. What do we have here? Is this a fight to target? Is this a fight to fade? What does the Salary Voodoo say for Mauler138's fight? We got ourselves a Bernie. That is a good sign. We got that good voodoo. If you see a Bernie, you know we have some good salary voodoo. Look at these salary scores, guys. 8.5 for 8,200. Run of the mill, 14th. You know, right above the median point there. 8,000 though, 7.14 salary score. The 10th best salary to play overall, according to Salary Voodoo. Put those two together, guys. We're in the top half of the salaries, which is what we need to get ourselves a Bernie. So maybe this is one we should focus on. Be sure to watch Game Theory on the Monkmatician channel, and also on the Monkmatician channel, check out the new show, Odds on Ownership, where we talk about fights to target, specifically fights to target. So compare that with this and use it with Game Theory. You guys will know exactly how to play everything this week. So we got ourselves a Bernie. That means we got that good voodoo. Next fight, brought to you by Taking Your Top Knot. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 8,600 versus 7,600. And we have Cutelaba and Johnny Walker this week. Now, guys, as a reminder, these stats that you see are all about the salaries. They have nothing to do with the fighters. So light heavyweights make optimal 51.61% of the time. Very good. Fight number 9, not so good. 43, almost 44%. But the salary pair of 86 and 76 makes optimal 58.82% of the time. We are under leveraged by 7.23%. There is a huge leverage spot on this fight, under owned by 7%. Meanwhile, we have a Southpaw versus Orthodox fight here. Southpaw wins those 52.61% of the time. The finish win rate for 8,600 is almost 40%, an incredible number. Decision win rate is 26.5%. Yet the ownership is just 27% for 8,600. We are under leverage, or we are, under leverage 6.65%, meaning this salary makes optimal 6% more times than it's owned, meaning we got to get this in our lineup, guys. Over on the $7,600 side, Orthodox fighter, Orthodox beats Southpaw 45.22% of the time, a win rate of almost half of what the $8,600 salary is, 20.5%. Decision win rate of just 13.24%. Not great. 24% owned, and we're still under leveraged here by almost a half, or just over a half of a percentage. So there you see the negative 7.23 leverage, and that is why we are under owned to both of these salaries by a little bit and by a lot. So these two have fought each other 68 times. 8,600's made optimal a huge 23 of those 68 times for a gigantic optimal rate of 33.82. This is one of the best numbers out of all salaries, guys. Has a win rate of almost 2 out of 3, 66.18%. When it does win, it makes optimal 51% of the time and scores an average of 97.67 points when it does win. Meanwhile, its dog counterpart has made optimal 6 times less, but still a very good number, especially in this range of 17 times, giving an optimal rate of 25%. Fantastic for a dog salary. Has a win rate of just 33.82%. You would want to see that a bit higher, to be honest. But when it does win, it makes optimal in almost 74% of its wins and scores 104.29% on average when it does win. Guys, I think you can guess what Taking Your Top Knots ruling is going to be, or what my ruling for Taking Your Top Knots fight is going to be here between Cutelaba and Johnny Walker. We got ourselves another Bernie, baby. This one's going to be fantastic. I mean, look at the salary scores here. 6.42 salary score, 5th overall. What the heck was that? 5th overall. So a fantastic salary. And the salary of 7,600, 8.31, 12th best overall. So combine that, I mean, we're in the top 10 as far as fights go. As far as salary pairs go, we're in the top 5. This is a fantastic one to target. So be sure to check that out. We got ourselves a Bernie for Taking Your Top Knots fight. Thank you, sir. Next fight. Fight number 3. Picked by Trey Fisher. Thank you a ton, Trey. He picks the main event of the evening. $9,600 versus $6,600. You know what it is. Hamzat, Nate Diaz, welterweight fight. Again, 45.63% of the time. Optimal. 13th fight of the night. 57.14%, a fantastic number. And the main event, guys. Main events make optimal 61.64% of the time. Obviously, that's a function of having an extra 10 minutes to score points. But still, 61% is a great number. The salary pair, however, it's only 16.67% optimal. We are over leveraged to that position by 28%, guys. 28%. Let's see why. Orthodox versus Southpaw, you already know the odds on that. Finish win percent for 9,600 is 58.33. Decision win, 16.67. So out here finishing a ton of fights. Meanwhile, finish win rate is the same as decision win rate for the dog salary here, 8.33%. That salary of 6,600 is owned 10.67% on average. We are under leveraged, guys, by 6% to the $6,600 salary. Is that going to come into play this week? I tend to think not, but who knows? Average ownership for 9,600, 42.79%. We are over leveraged 34.5%, guys, meaning we are owning this salary rather 34% more than we should be, more than his optimal rate. Let's find out why. This salary pair has been used 12 times, so it does not get used a ton. 9,600 has only made optimal one time. And I believe it was Marvin Vettori against Kevin Holland, and Vettori scored like 156 in a 5-round decision. 8.33% optimal. Terrible. Worst, almost the worst on the card. I think it's actually second worst. 83.33% win rate. So that's what you are looking for. But when it does win, it's only 10% optimal. 107.71 DraftKings points per win is the best number we've seen so far. So a few of these numbers are off the charts, and a few of them are off the charts in a bad way. They're below the grid. 12 times, like I said, for 6,600 as well. It's made the optimal twice. 2 more times than the 9,600. 16.67% optimal. That is also its win rate. When it does win, obviously it's 100% optimal and wins. It's so low that if it does win, it's probably going to make the optimal. 107.32 per win. Guys, what do we have here? I think you can guess. These numbers are abysmal. The only one that's any good is the fight position and the main event numbers here at 57.14. These numbers are terrible. What do we have? No Bernie, guys. We got ourselves a frozen Jack. That is that bad voodoo, the bad salary voodoo. If you see frozen Jack, you do not want to see that. You do not want to target that. Look at these salary scores. 13 for 6,600. It is the 26th best out of 30 salaries. So what's that, 5th worst out of 30 salaries? Its favorite counterpart of 9,600, 23.2. 29th best. So the second worst salary to play is the most expensive. So guys, my advice to you, and I know it's going to be hard, under the field on Khamzat Chimaev. Under. That's what I would say. Guys, that's going to do it. Wait, this is a pay-per-view week. And there's also been a fight that's been more requested than any other fight. So we are bringing you a bonus fight. Let's get into the bonus fight, guys. There it is. You've all been wondering where your pick is. Picked by Tommy Touchy, Top Knot, Mahler 138, and the Green Reaper. Green, $8,700 versus $7,500. This week it is Kevin Holland against Daniel Rodriguez. What a fight this is going to be, guys. Catchweight fight at 180. Catchweight's used more than you might think. Only 44% optimal, though. Not great. Fight number 11, 54.24% optimal. And the Coco main event makes optimal 52.05% of the time. So some decent numbers there. The salary pair of 87 and 75 is optimal 46.27% of the time. And we are over using it by 2%, guys. Let's get into why. Orthodox versus Southpaw, you know the win rates on those. Finish win percent for 8,700 is good. Very good. 30% finish win. Even better by decision, which you don't necessarily want to see, but it's a huge number, 43.28%. Meanwhile, the finish win rate for 7,500 is 18%, and the decision win rate is only 8.96, so not a ton of wins coming on the $7,500 side. Guys, its ownership for the dog salary here, 23.34%. We are over leveraged to that position by 10%, guys. Well over the field, or well over optimal by 10%. That is not something you want to see. $8,700 average ownership, 25%. So almost, just a bit over its dog counterpart. Meanwhile, we are not using it enough. We are under leveraged by almost 8%. It makes the optimal 8% more than its ownership. So a fantastic look for the $8,700 side. Let's get into it. They fought each other 67 times since January 1st of 2021. The $7,500 salary has only made optimal 9 times. I think it's one of 2 or 3 salaries that has single digits in the making optimal since that time. Not a good look, guys. That is a 13.43% optimal rate. God awful. Only has a 26.87 win rate. When it does win, it's optimal 50% of the time and has an average score of 93.63. So not great numbers there at all. That 13% optimal is shudderingly bad. The $8,700 side, the favorite side of this equation, has made optimal 22 times, a fantastic number. I mean, 32.84% optimal rate is ridiculous. A 73.13% win rate is equally ridiculous. When it does win, it is very expensive, so it only makes optimal 44.9% of the time, but it also scores 95 points on average per win. Guys, these are some very good numbers for 8,700, but these are some very bad numbers for its $7,500 counterpart. The catch weight percentages are not good. The salary pair is not good. Guys, how are we ruling this bonus fight between Kevin Holland and Daniel Rodriguez? The Salary Voodoo says it's a bad one to target. Frozen Jack, you never want to see that. But here we are, guys. Like I said, $8,700 is a fantastic salary to play on average. 6.64 salary score. I mean, fantastic. 7th best overall. 7th best out of 30. But the $7,500 side is dragging it down as far as Salary Voodoo, guys. 13.17 salary score. The 27th best salary score out of 30, which makes it what? The 4th worst. Just very bad. It puts this one just below mid-range as a whole. So I'm sorry, but this one is gonna have to be a frozen jack. Guys, let's get into a recap before we get out of here. We have 8,200 and 8,000 as a Bernie. We have 8,600 and 7,600 as a Bernie. We have 9,600 and 6,600 as a frozen jack. 2 very, very bad salaries to play. And then we have 8,700 and 7,500, which was close, but it is going to have to be a frozen jack because of that low dog salary. Guys, that is your UFC 279 recap, and this has been Salary Voodoo. It's been my pleasure to bring these stats to you. Hopefully, it gives you a different look at GPP lineup construction, and just a bit of a different thought process, some more stats, more unique stats when it comes to making those lineups. So guys, I hope I can be of help. I hope this was of help to you. If it was, be sure to hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend who plays in different contests than you. So that's going to do it, guys. As usual, I want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.